lose yourself in a good book. The Bord Gáis Energy Book Club.
Now, she is probably best known to you at home for her role as Debbie from the hit series Love Hate, for which she clinched the 2013 IFTA for Best Supporting Actress.
Now, actress Susan Loughnane has turned her attention to writing and penned her first novel called The Art of Scandal, which tells the tale of a young Irish artist called Katie who flees back to Ireland when her life in New York falls apart. Susan, good morning to you.
Morning.
And congratulations on your first book. How exciting.
Yeah,
it must be very cool to sit there with it in your hands, knowing it's in the shops.
Yeah, I can't quite believe it, really.
Now, you are way too talented. Because that's what Mark was just saying to you beforehand. Actress, model, writer. Was writing... Painter as well.
Which are you?
Well, you can
all
be all.
Above,
you can be all of the above.
Yeah, I kind of started saying recently I'm just a storyteller. Like, I just kind of try everything where I can express a story.
It's kind of working out pretty well for you, that whole trying things out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a bit of fun, isn't it? I'm not, like, rolling around in my Jaguar or anything, but I'm having a good time, so...
Now, Mark and me should declare our colours. We're probably the only two people in the whole country who haven't seen Love Hate.
That's okay.
But I do know that your role in it was, well, something you were very proud of, because it was very gritty, obviously, it's Love Hate, but you got to film some extraordinary scenes.
Yeah, I did, yeah. It was a real challenge, but also kind of a blessing in a way, because, you know, you get to really flex your muscles.
And because there was some drug taking, there was some sex and violence. And...
Yeah, I got to learn how to shoot up and all those useful things.
But you haven't watched it?
Oh, well, I've watched bits. Mostly I kind of avoid my own scenes because it's hard enough to watch yourself. But yeah, it's a great show. I'm loving it this year. Like, I was watching it on Sunday and I just had such a good time.
Along with nearly a million people. I mean, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Actually, just interesting... reading the notes about you, you were talking about the contradiction of being a celebrity in Ireland, and that at one stage you were on the dole, but you were on the covers of magazines, and it is a bit of a contradiction in terms of what I was, just the false perceptions, but also the reality of it in Ireland. And I just noticed this morning, poor old Tom Vaughan Lawler went to an ATM machine. Yeah. And for some reason, couldn't get any money out of it. Now, there's 100 reasons why that might have happened. Yeah. You know, there could have been something wrong with the machine. But he's papped with his card in his hand. Oh, and that's the other side of it. It is.
I mean, it's tough. Like, you don't get paid a lot in Ireland. I personally, like, don't particularly do it for money. Clearly, I don't think you can in Ireland. Like, if you're doing it for money, you're just, it's a lost cause. But, yeah, it can be... Yeah, my local dole office was in Coolock, and I remember I just used to be, you know, covering my head because I knew everyone was fans, and it was awful. Like,
so would anyone spot you and go, "There's your one Debbie from Love Hate"?
I don't know. I was always trying to hide myself in a hat.
That is hilarious that you were in such a successful series and signing on.
Susan, you're working away as an actress, and you know there's an awful lot of work goes into that. When you're working, you're up to your neck in scripts and all the rest. But also when you're not working, you're spending an awful lot of time trying to start working again. So, at what stage did the book come about, or what was the catalyst for that?
Gosh, well, I had the story for a long time. I kind of came across it in my head when I was thinking, I always go into these feminist rants about female artists and how they don't get enough recognition and everything. And then I was talking to, and I just basically wanted to turn the idea of a male artist painting women on its head and change that. And
Jim Fitzpatrick gave you
I was basically just teasing him.
So this isn't autobiographical in any way?
Not at all, no, I've never painted naked men in my life. I would be petrified, yeah. But, and then my friend Caroline Grace Cassidy had written a book, and I just kind of...
So the premise of this is that Katie was in New York. Life wasn't great there. She comes back home, licking her wounds and to pick up the pieces and all the rest of it. And she decides that she's going to do a series of male nudes. So she goes to a little small village in County Clare, and she starts propositioning the local men to see whether they will sit for her or not. And of course...
The rumour mill starts.
Yeah, from that little acorn, great, huge, big, nasty, gossipy oaks grow.
It just lends itself to a lot of humour. I think the book kind of wrote itself in that way, because it just sort of, you know, the idea, the concept just ended up, you know, providing so many ideas for funny scenarios. And I think nudity in general is kind of hilarious. And, you know, when you put people who aren't necessarily used to being nude or who have secret desires to be nude or, you know, have little fantasies in their head. And then there's some that kind of think that she's going to give them more than, you know, she is. And yeah, it's just, there is so many.
It reminded me
ideas.
slightly, only very slightly, of Chocolat, and the way you have this kind of stranger, this kind of sexy aura around the stranger who comes to a small little rural village and shakes it up, and all the women straight away are like, oh, now what's she up to there?
Yeah.
But there is that kind of twitchy curtain vibe to
Yes,
it.
yeah, that's kind of what I was going for in a way. That's a really nice comparison. Yeah, it is a lot of fun in that way, and I liked that idea of causing a bit of a stir, and some of the people.
The idea that you could actually do that would have been preposterous 10 years ago, but now when you consider the fashion for calendars, I mean,
Yeah,
like
the
even every
charity
Mocker
calendars.
branch in the country's got, you know, well-buffed young farmers quite prepared to get their kit off and sit in a hayrick.
And some not so well buffed.
But I mean, everybody from grannies in the ICA to that. So you know, if you were to do it, you might get a lot more offers than you think.
Yeah, fair play though. You know, I mean, if people are willing to do that, then that's
Have you ever had
brilliant.
to get naked for acting purposes? Or would you say no?
Well, Love Hate I was. The very first shot anyone ever saw was of my back side.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
How did you feel about
season
that?
2. I didn't care really, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it wasn't full frontal or anything. It was just me from behind getting out of bed, and it was fine. I mean,
I can tell you now, most Irish women wouldn't have their arse shown on TV for €1 million.
okay, maybe not. Well,
The Art of Scandal, Susan Loughnane. How many books are in this deal, Susan? Have you got another one?
No, I specifically asked for no more books in the deal because I didn't want to be paid for something that I haven't done yet. It's kind of scary
That's
to
very
me.
noble. Good for
Susan,
you.
you're so humble about this. You're like, I tried acting and I'm just trying a book. Yeah, it's a huge achievement. Well done.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and it's gotten great reviews so far, so I'd say people will be thrilled to enjoy it. The Art of Scandal by Susan Loughnane, available now.
Lose yourself in a good book. The Board Gosh Energy Book Club.